Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on the verification process in EqHub. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to spend the next 30 minutes with us here today. So, have you ever wondered how the verification process looks like from a bird's eye view, from an overview, and within EqHub? Today, we're going to show you both of those viewpoints, both from the overview, but also clicking through in a step-by-step demo in EqHub. So stay with us for the next 30 minutes to see how the verification process works. So with me today, I have Trond Even Dagsvik, who's an advisor from Offshore Norge, and Jørgen Kielland, who's a certified verifier from Offshore Norge and ShareCat Solutions. And my name is Lars Ole Fjørtoft, and I will be moderating this session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the questions tab. We'll show you how in just a moment. And also feel free to ask anything you'd like in the chat. So today we'll have an introduction of the verification process provided by Trond Even, a step-by-step demo from Trond Even and Jørgen, in addition to a Q&A session. And the Q&A session will be at the end of today's webinar. So feel free to ask any questions that you have. This webinar is being recorded, and this recording is available actually immediately after the webinar. So if you'd like to review any information, feel free to hang back a minute or two, and then you can watch it in your own time. We'll also publish this recording on YouTube, and we'll send you the link. So you can share it with anyone and watch it as many times as you'd like. Short practical information, it's the questions button in the lower right panel on your screen. Here is where you can ask a question and send it in to us. And we'll make sure to answer as many questions as possible within our time frame. You can also vote on any questions that may come in. Great. Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to give the word over to Trond Even. So feel free to share your screen, Trond Even, and give us an introduction. Okay, so I believe you're on mute, Trond Even, on your microphone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lars Ole. Can you see the presentation? There.
Yes.
Yes, I was just taking a quick overall look of EqHub and the verification process, and talking a little bit where we're coming from and where we are, and how the process works from our side. So, as you all know, the old process on the left side here is that the specification and request going down through the supply chain, and it end up with the equipment supplier. And I think most of you that is here today is equipment supplier, and as you know, you normally choose the specific equipment that you want to deliver to the project. So what we have experienced during the years is when this supply chain here is used and the equipment supplier push forward the documentation to the package supplier and package supplier to the contractor, and the operator have it in the end. There are some very often some information missing. That could be wrong manufacturer and very often too short part number, for instance, so you actually don't know what you have. So what we're doing now is that the supply chain is the same, that the specification and the request going through the chain and ending down to the equipment supplier. And again, when they have choose which equipment they want to deliver, they go into EqHub, check if it's inside the EqHub before, and if it's inside EqHub, they have to check that it's according to the specification that is now, and that will be no success 018. If the equipment is not in EqHub, they have to upload the information and get it approved by the certified verifier, and then give the verified EqHub IDs they deliver back to the equipment supplier that connected to the tag index or to the purchase order. There's some that cannot come in to, excuse me, Lars Ole. Somebody to try to come in. Yes, sorry guys. with this new chain and where the equipment information or the product typical information of the equipment is only stored one place. And that means we don't need to duplicate the information to the different players in the supply chain. But this also means that the information that is inside EqHub have to be trustworthy and accurate and according to the common requirement that is set 018. By doing this is a lot of win for the whole supply chain. The EqHub verification service is organized by Offshore Norge, and Offshore Norge have an agreement today with the 3 different companies that is doing the work on behalf of Offshore Norge. But it's very important that this verification process is done by independent personnel. And of course, that the quality of the data is very important, that is as accurate as possible. All the certified verifiers, they work on behalf of the industry and Offshore Norge. So independent of which company that pays the salary, they work for Offshore Norge. And the role as a certified verifier is personal. So all the people that have this role in Offshore Norge, they have been through training, and they have to follow these procedures and that Offshore Norge is providing. So where are we in the information flow? So the verification process is done between the supplier and the requester or buyer. So when the supplier have decided which equipment they want to deliver, they send it for verification, and the verification process will be take care of here. And then if everything's okay, they will have this EqHub ID return, and again they can connect it to the purchase order or to the tag index in the project. Yes, and what are we checking in the verification process? We are checking the manufacturer, that is the true manufacturers that is uploaded, and we also check the part number, that they are accurate and unique, and we check if there is a model that is correct according to the documentation. We're checking that the class is correct, and we're checking that the document is uploaded, all the mandatory documentation, and we check that the documentation is what it's supposed to be. So if it's a data sheet, it should be a data sheet connected to that class. And we also go through all these technical attributes that you normally will find in the data sheet. And all this information we need to see in the documentation to have it approved. And the verifiers, they have this checklist they can use, so they know that they have been through all this different check they want to do with this EqHub ID that they want to verify. And I think there was one foil that was jumping past that. We have what we call we have procedure for the verification process. So there is a document that describes the whole verification step by step that the verifier should follow. And this is very important that they do it in a uniform manner and at all the common requirements is followed. So there are no chance that some project is pushing forward the EqHub ID that don't fulfill all the requirements that should be. So, and again, this foil shows the verification process in step by step. So it's started normally that the verification personnel is reading the comments from the manufacturer, and then it's going step by step. And I think Jørgen will go through this and show you how he works when he's going through all this process. So it's easier to see in practical here. So please, Jørgen, if you want to go into and show your screen, so that will be fine. But just a moment, 2 seconds. What is happening from our side? is that when we are sitting from Offshore Norge, we have what we call a verification tab here, where we can see all the information that's coming in for verification. So, and we have when we have a verification or equipment ready for verification, we go in and decide which company that should use it and who is going to take care of this verification. So when I send this Amazon or Rosemont transmitter to Jørgen, he got a message on his side that there is equipment waiting for improvement and verification. So, 2 seconds. That's typical. Something hang up. So I try again. I go in, choose the company that's going to do it, and I choose the right person to do it. And I send it forward to Jørgen so he can go in and start the process with improvement and verification. So what they're doing now is sending 2 different EqHub ID over to Jørgen so he can start the process. So now, Jørgen, if you want to go into your side of it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Then I will share my screen. Quickly, and can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's good. So when I start the verification process, I have a verification tab up here in the left corner where I can go in and filter on me. I also get an email like me. You might notice down in the right-hand corner now, I just got an email from Offshore Norge that I have some IDs assigned to me. So that's my notification. The first thing I start with in the verification process is to go in the verification tab. The reason for that is to see if you as a provider have put in some specific comments related to this. So it might there might be stuff that you would comment on just to make me aware of something or where I can find information, and you could put it in provider's comment. And then I'll get back to this later on. The next page I go to, or part of it, tab, is the documents. The reason is the 2 reasons. Number 1, of course, I need to see that all the documents, the required documents, are filled out. Here it's important to know that one document can fulfill several of these document type or document categories. Datasheet could, for example, also cover a product description ordering information, provided it has the part numbers and things that you need to order it. So I see here that everything is filled out. To make it easy for myself, since one document can cover several document categories, I can go to the tab view and I can see the different documents, so I don't have to open the same one 2 or 3 or 4 times if it's used for several categories. So I've already opened these and looked at these, and the only thing that I found here is that this document ID 1000202 is actually a duplicate ID of that one. So I'm just going to have them remove the 202 later on. You'll see that in my comment. So then I go to the overview, and one of the things I have to do is to verify the part number. So I'm going to move over the data sheet or so I'll just show you here in brief what I do. This one has 180 pages, so we gotta figure out where to start to look. So this is an inline pressure transmitter from Amazon or Rosemont. This one has an ordering structure. So I look at the number over, the part number. I verify all the numbers in the numbering structure to make sure that this complete number is a valid number. So I've already done that and checked it, that the number is correct, the manufacturer is correct, the model is correct, and it is listed as unique because this is a unique part number, which if you give this to Rosemont or to Emerson, you will get exactly the same thing again. And that's the most important thing about this part number, that it has to be unique. If it's not unique, you need to set it to not unique here. If there's a special reason why this is that you can't give a unique number. That could, for example, if you have a computer server, it's very hard to get all the numbers and all the options that you have on that. So you might set it to not unique. One of the important things for us verifiers is that we're just going to verify whatever data you have put in here, that it corresponds with the attached documents. So if you put something in here, it needs to be verifiable. So I have verified a number. I have verified the model. I have also verified the class. Then I verify all the properties. So I have to find these in the document. If these are not listed in the documents, they should be left blank. And obviously, if you have important properties, that has to be there for you to figure out what this is. That is not necessarily easy to find in the documents. Then it has to be filled in. So everything that is in the document, you need to fill in. Some of these can be a little tricky. For example, the ATEX certificate and all the hazardous area. So there's been some confusion. For example, the CE marking, it could be the notifying body of the one that certified the equipment, or it could be the notifying body that did a quality assessment that you would have on the EU Declaration of Conformity. So these are things that can be a little tricky to find out. Anyway, so we fill out all of these. We check all the property values that is put in, and they should be put in according to the pick list or that you have for a lot of these properties. When you fill it in, you'll get a pick list, which is a guide of how this is supposed to look at. And the reason we try to standardize how we write things is for having better searchability. So I have looked through all of these properties in advance, because that takes quite a bit of time to check all this when you have like 6-7 documents, and some of them are 180 pages. So I have made myself a little cheat note. I put it into a notepad, whatever I found, and I found a couple of things here, and mostly related to the ATEX certificate and those values. One of the things is that we're not necessarily questioning whoever puts it in, but the thing is, there's a lot of things can be a little difficult, and a lot of times you can have copy-paste errors. So what I will do is I take the things that I found, I'll go back to the verification tab, I will put that into the summary, so that you as a requester, when you get this back, I just simply state the below property value should be amended. And I also put in the reference page so that you know where you can find this if you're in doubt, or you want to know the reason why I asked to have it changed. So for example, the CE marking was 1180, but on the EU Declaration of Conformity it says 0598. So that's the one we should use. If part number is wrong, or if I'm not sure if it's wrong, or the part number uniqueness is wrong, I will tick off this tick box here, so that we allow you as a requester to change the part number or part number uniqueness. So the next stage is that I go here. This one will be back to rework. I submit it, and now it's sent back to the requester, to one in Amazon Automation. So then I'm gonna show a different one real quick. This is one that I have also looked through. I've checked that there's nothing wrong with it. Everything is fine. I've checked the part number. It has a data sheet with a drawing number, or not a drawing number, but a unique ID from their configurator, which we use preferably to the standard article code. So if you see the article code, they use that as a part number alias. But this one is not necessarily 100% unique. This is unique. So that's why it's still listed as unique. They put the model number here. I've checked all the properties, so it's all okay. I've also checked all the documents. Everything is fine. I go to the verification tab, and Trond has to submit this to me, because I think that's the first one you did, and or maybe I have to yeah.
I think you have to refresh.
Yeah, I just had to do a refresh. So everything is fine here. So I just put in a comment. That's what I do, checked and okay, because if there was a comment here from before, it will still show here. So then I delete that comment in this round. It will still be that the past comment will still be on the last revision that you sent in, so to speak, or not revision, but last round. And I go here and I click approved. I submit the approval. And that's it.
Yeah, and then again, the data provider will have the email, and he will see it on his home screen on EqHub that is approved. So if you show Jørgen the home button here, you will see that this is the last one that is approved.
This one here, yeah. And I assume you get a notification email too when it's approved.
Yeah, they will.
Okay, should I stop sharing?
Yes, thank you, Jørgen. Great. So thank you both Jørgen and Trond for an overview of the verification process. So we have received some questions. So starting off with the first one we received. So this one goes out to both you and Jørgen and Trond. So question regarding required documents. When some of them are not delivered, will the EqHub ID be approved?
The rule for the mandatory documentation, you should deliver, or if you not deliver, you have to write an explanation why. So I can take an example that will typically be with a ball valve, for instance. You have the same requirement, even if it's a very small ball valve that you use on your kitchen, or it's the big ball valve. So for the small one, you don't need all this specification that you will find in set 018. So then the message back to the verifier is that this is not applicable for this size, for instance. And then the verifier will see the comment, and he will accept or not accept. But the rule is that all mandatory documentation should be delivered or coming with a comment from the supplier.
Okay, great. And feel free to send some more questions, or send anything in the chat if you'd like to have any more questions. So that was answered. So the next one, shall there always be an explanation why a required document are not delivered even when the EqHub ID is approved?
Yes, we have remember that EqHub has been up and running for since back in 2010, and there are information inside the system that has been verified and approved during all these years. And but from in August 2021, all the operators agreed that we should use set 018 as a requirement, and that means that you have mandatory documents. So if something was approved back in 2020, for instance, they have to go in and check if all the mandatory document is delivered. So if you come into equipment that's missing a document or two, you have to upload the new document and send it for a new approved or verification. Yeah. So all the information that you have to deliver to the project today, for instance, should follow the set 018. And the requirement is that suppliers should deliver accurate information according to the specification. So yeah, so if there are some equipment that's missing mandatory documentation, they have to put it into edit and upload the documentation and send it for verification again.
Okay, great. Thank you, Trond Even. So then we have another question here. So part number aliases. Some, I guess it's equipment, have a part number alias and some don't have. What will you do as a verifier if the part number alias is missing? The one Jørgen is showing is having part number alias. I see some other equipment that have it.
Yeah, this alias field is this is not the mandatory field to fill out. So this is more or less a help for the supplier if they need to have an internal reference, for instance, to use later on. But we don't check the part number alias. We don't need to find it in the documentation. So it's more or less a service for to the supplier that they can use their own reference. Somebody used the SAP number, for instance, to go back to see the production of it and so on. But it's not a mandatory field to fill out.
Okay. And then we received one question from the chat. So regarding selection changes of classes for a product, who is to decide or define what class is to be chosen for a product? It seems that different suppliers may choose different classes on equivalent products, and we have seen several cases where similar products have been registered and is approved in different classes.
Yeah, maybe you can answer that, Jørgen.
Yeah, we tend to go back to see if similar products have been registered, so we are consistent of which class to use. But there are products that is in a gray area. For example, if we have a situation with a enclosure, a junction box, and a terminal box, for example, sometimes it can be hard to see the difference, you know, and some things are historically decided. For example, if you have used enclosure for a certain product throughout time, it would be stupid to change it just because we have changed opinion about it, because it's kind of a gray area between the two. So sometimes it could be difficult, but it is the verifier's responsibility to check that you get the right class. So put the best one you can on, and then worst case, you get a response that you need to change it to a different class. And all of us that sit here as verifiers, we are pretty familiar with what products goes in which class.
Thank you. So we're running a bit out of time, but I think we have time for at least one more question. So this one reads, I need more information about revision number in EqHub. Some of them are in revision number 3, etc. Is the documentation in that revision correct and fit with the requirements at this particular time?
Yes, it should be. So when you send it to new verification, the verifier should see that it's correct and according to the information that's on this EqHub ID. That is the rule for it. So every time you upload new documentation or upload new revision, you have to send it to new verification. So the verifier should check it. That is okay.
Mm. Great. Okay, so last question. Will GTIN also be a part of registration on new EqHub IDs?
We're talking with around this issue, and we have this field in the overview that you can upload a get-in number, but it's not mandatory because there are very few people that are using it. But and we're also working to have this. If you put in a get-in number, you will look up in the get-in number database to see that the number you have filled in is correct, and also that the verifier can check if it's correct get-in number. But this is the thing that we're working with, and but again, there are some instrument and electro manufacturers that have get-in number, but there are only a few one if you look at all the manufacturers that is inside EqHub. But I'm sure this will come more and more in the yet to come.
Okay, thank you, Trond Even. And thank you to all of the good questions that have come in this session. That's really good, and one of the goals with this webinar is to have this dialogue. So that was the end of our presentation. Remember to stay connected with us on social media, collaborate.no, YouTube, and also follow us on LinkedIn for updates on future webinars and other activities. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at a later event. Thank you.